Yeah?
Yeah.
I'm going to do like a beginning drawing example with you. I'm going to grab my phone because I want to work off that picture you sent me.
Okay.
And we're going to be talking about linear perspective, which is like a basic drawing principle that you start art school with, essentially, as well as, some basic shading and stuff. So we've got this picture that you had sent me, which is really beautiful. So tell me, this is your campus? This is where you'll be going to school?
Yeah.
That is amazing. Like, this is a
really nervous.
Well, it's okay. Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. There's nothing to be nervous about. We're practicing drawing. So you can start going to art school on this beautiful campus, and we'll talk about, some of the basic things when it comes to learning how to draw something like this. And that's why I want to talk about linear perspective, because this picture has a lot of depth to it. So you can see like the background gets really dark, but the color of the building is really light. So when it comes to shading, like, you'll have a lot of opportunity there. So I'm just going to start drawing it. And if you want to draw along, you already have the picture, obviously, because you're the one who sent it to me. So you can kind of look along with that.
Okay.
But when it comes to linear perspective, you're always thinking about what's the vantage point. That's what it's called. It's like the actual terminology doesn't matter as much as the concept of understanding, like, where I'm looking is going to have a certain angle to where this building is, and it's called the horizon line. So if you were drawing like a sunset, that would be the horizon of the sky. So we are looking straight forward, so it's a pretty simple drawing itself. But and also you had different supplies, like the pencils going from HB to, all that. I still don't know the difference. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know the difference. I know which pencil looks like it'll draw thicker and which pencil looks like it will draw thinner. But I would memorize it for testing purposes, like, in case they ask you. But just to let you know, it's not gonna kill you if you can't remember that, because I still remember that. Okay.
Okay.
I always start with a softer pencil when I make the first line. And you want to think about like basic shapes, right? So this, I'm drawing the left column, and then I'm drawing the right column, excuse me. And I just eyeball it. Whenever you're starting, you're going to want to maybe like do a grid where you like have the paper have boxes all over it, but it's okay to just from like I said, eyeballing it from the beginning, because you're just trying to learn. And I think about basic shapes, so like the negative space, which is the space where something doesn't exist, is this like open square in the middle of these columns. So I'm kind of paying attention to that. I'm also paying attention to which direction the lines that are supporting the structure go. So like the top of the balcony kind of works on a little bit of an angle, because we're not facing the balcony forward, we're facing it to its side. Or facing it on its side, excuse me. Some of these lines I'll keep and some of them I'll erase, but I'm just working to get something on the paper at first so I can see what it is exactly that needs to be adjusted. And now I've got a protractor. I like the protractor too. You can get a curve, but you can do it by eyeballing it as well, or just doing it by looking at it. Now you see how I'm holding my pencil like this?
Yeah.
Not like this.
Mm.
When I'm drawing it, from like trying to get basic lines, I always hold it from the back, and that way I can put extra pressure on it and have better control. Depending on what kind of line you're drawing, you're going to want to hold it in a different way. But honestly, you were saying about drawing like a circle without a compass, or I don't
Yeah.
remember, and then or a straight line without a ruler, and like, yeah, that takes a lot of practice to be able to do that. So sometimes I'll just, before I even make a mark, I might hold my pencil like this and be like, straight line, straight line, straight line, you know, or try to come and like do a circle. And sometimes it takes me like 5 times around before I actually get one that looks like a circle, but then it doesn't, because I can just erase everything else. But I wanted to mention that because when you're drawing a straight line, it can be easier to work horizontally, like or diagonally to draw a straight line than it is to go like up and down. So when I'm drawing, I move the paper around a lot just to try to get it to be a direction that makes it easier, because it's easier to go like this than it is to go like this, if that makes sense. So I'll just move the paper. If at any point you have a question, you feel free to ask me, okay?
Okay. Mm, I can't see your drawing.
Oh yeah, because I was covering it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Now I'm not drawing the whole picture. I kind of have a tendency to zoom in without realizing it. Like, if this was something I was drawing like for real, I would probably start over at this point so that I could
I
zoom out and draw more of the information in the picture. But it's okay. That's just something to, you know that that's something I. So some of the shapes are starting to come together. You can see like this is where the top step is right here. This is where the balcony on the lower level starts. And this is like, it's difficult because it's not straight, it's on a curve. You know what I'm talking about? I'm like looking at it, like, where is this thing? And it's covered by the bush, which is why I think it's hard to see it. But I think it's going to be something more like this, kind of like lips down. So let's see if I can do that again up here. There's like 1,000 lines here. You can't even tell what the heck I'm trying to draw, but that's okay. You just draw a million lines until you get one that's right and erase them all. Okay. So you said you're in Egypt?
What?
Did you say you were in Egypt in our chat?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah, I'm in Egypt. What?
Where in Egypt?
I'm in Damour. I'm
Okay,
from Damour.
that's really cool. I'm not sure I know exactly where that is, but I've always really wanted to go to Egypt. My grandfather was a sailor, and on his route, he would sail through the Mediterranean. And so he would go to Port Said and Alexandria, or like
Yeah.
pretty often wanted to go. So that's really
My
cool.
wallet will be in Alexandria.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. See, isn't the internet amazing? Like, how is that possible that we're able to? It's so cool. I love that. Well, I would love to see more pictures of where you're from because I'll sometimes go on Google Maps and I'll look at the pictures that are posted in different areas in Egypt because I always think it's so pretty. So I'll just go there's so many, I mean, different kinds of terrain and stuff, like by the water and out in the desert, and I just think it's amazing. Where the top goes. Is it starting to make sense how like I'm building these shapes slowly but surely?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Silence.
See how I just did that? I saw there's one column on
Yeah.
this side and one column on this side. And I made a note in my mind that, oh, okay, those are on the same even
Yeah.
ground. So I held the ruler straight and I marked where that was and where that was. And you can do that all up and down. So it's like if this one side of the balcony is equal in height to the other side of the balcony, is equal in height to where the columns start on, oops, I kind of moved everything, on this side, then I notice, oh, this is too low down. So I have to go back on this side and fix it. And I can do that and add the handrail going a little higher up. And then I'll do it again. I'll go up to the top and see, okay, actually these are all different because they built a different shape. So if I wanted to, I could essentially build a cube here, right? Hold on, check that. Oh, okay, I already did that line. So if I'm thinking about where the ceiling of the awning is, like what's that shape like? And if I was standing right below it and I looked up, it would look kind of like this. Like almost a square, because this is where the wall would meet the ceiling part, but then the balcony part would have a semicircle of a curve, right?
Yeah.
And then what does that look like from this perspective? You know what I mean? I'm trying to imagine if I was standing right here and looked up, I would see this. So here's this line. Here is this line. This line is over on this side. Oh, and then because I can imagine that, I realized, oh, so it needs to be a little bit more connected here. You know what I mean? And because there are different layers, I erased one part, but now I have a better idea of what that angle is. And it takes a lot of imagination to be able to do that, because you have to think, okay, if I was physically in this space, what does that look like? How is that affecting, what my vision is, what my it's called perspective, linear perspective, line. It's interesting to really think about it, and not because you look at a drawing and you're like, oh wow, that's a lot of lines, but then you realize that person who drew that must have really imagined what it was like to exist in that space, and then you're playing a game of pretend, sort of, and then that's like just fun. I think so. But okay, so then you sit back and you look back and you're like, okay, we're getting somewhere. I'm getting somewhere now. What else can I do? And then I think that once I have some lines on there, it's a good idea to start with, like, you're focusing on innovative design and shading. So I would start at this point to start shading, because if I look at the picture next to the drawing, I realize that my darkest lines here are actually where it's the most bright, because that's where the light is hitting it, and all this empty space is where we have the darkest shadows. So if I start with this isn't a pencil, but it's a graphite crayon is what they call it. But it's not a crayon, it's pencil, but it's just the inside of the pencil. So I like to use this to shade stuff, but you could use this is actually a watercolor pencil. So, and I'll show you what I mean I'll draw the arc in the background, like the doorway to the building. I'll draw that with this, so you'll see what I mean. So I'm gonna do, and it goes all the way to the ground, so I have to make sure I'm making that. Okay. One tall line. You see how, actually, I don't know if you can see it, but this line is a lot darker than the rest of them, just because it's the pencil. So the lead itself is harder, or softer. The lead itself is softer, so it goes on easier. And one thing that can come in handy too is like actually measuring, with the protractor or with the ruler.
Yeah.
And saying like, okay, this is 3 centimeters here, I'm just paying attention. If the doorway is 3 centimeters, then how wide should the stairs be? And think the stairs are going to be probably like 2.5 times as wide, maybe. I'm just guessing. If we did look, we can see that my stairs are 6.5 to 7 centimeters. So that adds up. Like if this is 3 and this is 6.5, then I'm doing pretty good if I'm thinking the space itself is going to be about twice its size. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have the door here, and I'm drawing the top of the art. And I'm making sure that I like where that's at, and I think I do. So I'm going to, and this is the darkest dark we've got, right? It's like basically pitch black. It's not only the shadow, but it's a shadow that's happening inside. So I'm going to just scribble, 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 and try to stay inside of the lines. And then what I love about these pencils is that I can grab a paintbrush. This is the part you wanted to work with the paintbrush. So I can grab the paintbrush and it has water on it already, but no paint, just water. And the moment I touch the water to it, like look how dark it gets all of a sudden. And that's because of the material itself is dark. And it's water soluble, so you can have to be careful because it might start dripping. So don't pay attention to how much water I'm putting on here. And so it actually goes all the way down to the ground, but I'm giving myself a little bit of space because it's easier to add than it is to take away. So if I went too far down, then I have a whole other problem where I've got my stairs to the doorway in a way that doesn't make any sense. I have to be very careful. And then I've still got some pencil on my paintbrush, so I'm going to take an opportunity to, you see this empty space right here?
Yeah.
This part on the inside is still will connect to the archway to go inside. But this part is actually an empty space behind this column that goes up into the trees, and then we have that other tree that's like coming in front of the arch on the lower balcony. And you see, this isn't a perfect tree. This is just me, but it's me giving myself information so that later on, whenever it's time to actually draw the tree, I can go in with more detail and think, okay, where are the shadows of the tree? This part is where the light's coming. So it's darkest over here and it'll be brightest over here, you know? And I can go little bit by little bit to add all of this. And honestly, I think drawings like this, paintings like this are better when you walk away from them and you give yourself some time in between so that you kind of see with a fresh eye, like, oh wait, this doesn't make any sense what I drew up here. Like it's going a total other direction. But because you took the time away from it, you're able to pay attention and see those kinds of things that you wouldn't have seen before. So I was going to show you, so I drew the darkness here, and then something that's about a couple of shades lighter, this space in the background, in between the column and the trees. So I'll add more dark over here because that's more trees. And some dark over here. And again, this is the water pencil, so I can use the paintbrush. Suddenly, the stuff that actually is light starts to look more light because I give the actual shadow that's happening in here. And now I have this shadow. But because it's all under the awning, pretty much all of this is a shadow. So I'll give it a second to dry so that I'm not messing up the paper. But in a second, we'll go in there and kind of block out everything that's a little bit darker. But before I do that, I'm going to mark, this is I don't remember the name of it, but it's basically charcoal, but white. You have anything similar to that? Yeah, white pencil will work. Exactly. Exactly. So what I'm gonna do, and I have, this is a toned paper. So this paper isn't bright white. Like, see the difference? But the building itself has got that yellow to it that I wanted to use a paper where I could add lights and darks and kind of keep adding lights and keep adding darks until we find that middle ground, and then the building itself will be the color of the paper. So, there are different ways to do that, but when it comes to shading, I think that it's helpful to use a toned paper for that reason, because you don't have to think so hard about where's the middle. It already is for you. So one of the lightest parts that I see in the drawing is the top of the stairs, where that light is hitting it like, straight down. Like, part of linear perspective is you're trying to locate where's the sun, where's the light coming from. And after looking at this a while, I would say the light's coming from up here. You know how you can look at a picture, like when they're solving crimes and stuff, they're like, by this picture, it looks like it was 2 p.m. or something like that. They can do that. They can figure that out by the position of the sun. So it's obviously a ridiculous example, but it's helpful because that's basically what you'll be able to start doing. The more that you practice this, you'll be able to look at a picture and you'll be able to say, oh, that's 5 p.m. or it's like 6 o'clock summertime or something like that. And you'll be able to know just by looking at it. So it's cool to see where all of the different skills for making art kind of like transfer over. But I can draw the white right here. You see, I'm like going from above because this is where I'd probably change the direction of the paper if it wasn't up. But it's okay. I'm gonna go this way. And change the picture orientation along with me too. So I'll have it facing like down this way so that I'm looking at it from a different perspective itself. And I'm not getting confused by thinking about it as a building. I'm thinking about it as shapes that sit next to each other that just so happen to form a building, if that makes sense.
We won't draw it in my exam. I will show you with. I should draw like this.
Exactly. That is, if I were to look through my drawings, I would have one that looks almost exactly like that, because that is perfect example of linear perspective. You definitely get what I'm talking about when I say those kinds of things. That's awesome. Good. That's exciting. Very exciting. Okay. I'm going to just show you one more thing about the big shadows and everything like that. And then I'm going to send you pictures on more details. And I'll continue to work on this drawing and take videos and stuff like that and kind of show you exactly what it is I'm doing. But this will be able to at least start giving you some idea, I think. So here I am drawing a few of the, like, where the light is hitting. And I can make one faint line over here to show that this is more in a shadow, and a thicker line here to show this is more bright. And I still can't get this awning down. I don't really understand what's so hard about it, but I'll figure it out. I think it's because, this is, remember what I said, walking away with fresh eyes, you can see a whole different thing. I have this one going up and this one going down. That's not right. This is the same thing as this. So what's going on? So I can use this piece of information up at the top and go in,
Yeah.
and then I can create a somewhat like of a circle and understand that this should be a little bit higher up if I want it to be the same as that. So all right. I'm going to keep just doing light and dark so we can do the shading. Okay.
It's very different to me.
Yeah.
It's very different to me.
How's
Your
that?
face. أبي يعني لسه مبتدئة. يعني I can't draw it. You can see this. I can't.
Okay, that's fine. Please send me a picture of it afterwards so I
I'm
can.
very nervous.
You don't have to be. I understand. I definitely understand. But you don't have to be. It's okay. We're just drawing today. We're learning. We're making mistakes. I mean, look. Who cares? Right? Who cares? I'll make it work, right? I'll make these lines work. They don't mean anything. You know what I mean? We're just doing practice to get better. There's no need to be nervous. There's no need to be scared. This is something that makes you happy, right?
Yeah.
It makes you happy to draw?
Yeah.
So tell me more about that. What makes you happy about it?
I feel happy when I draw. I think about my dreams.
Really? That's so
Yeah.
cool. What kind of dreams do you have?
I want to go to space.
Cool.
I love nature very much.
That's
I'm very nervous.
Don't be nervous, okay? Don't be nervous.
Okay.
So that's so cool. You want to go to space and you love nature. I mean, that's just amazing. I love nature as well. And I also want to go to space. So that's why I'm having this crazy cool
I draw space in my tablet. I will show you it later.
I would love to see that. Seriously, I would love to see that because
some stars in the sky.
That's so cool. I'll show you too. I have a cool painting technique for drawing space and using a toothbrush, like brushing your teeth. You can go like this on the toothbrush and it splatters like stars all over the place. That's really cool. So when you're drawing or when you're painting, it makes you think about that? It makes you think about your dreams?
Yeah. I feel that I go to another world.
I agree completely. It's like a whole other universe, right?
Yeah.
But you created it in your own mind. And that's what's really special and I think makes people like us really different because we're able to imagine in your brain a universe or a world and translate that into the physical world and put it on paper.
Yeah.
And It takes a lot of practice to be able to do that. But that's why I want you to not get nervous, because that is something, it doesn't feel like it, but that's something you control. Do you get that? Do you get that? Don't just say yeah if you don't. If you don't get it, then say I don't get it, because I want you to get it. You know what I mean? Like it's there's a level of like feeling like you can't do it, like I can't, like I'm not able to, or like it's too scary, or something bad will happen, or someone's going to judge me, and then that means that I'm not good enough, or whatever it is that's happening. And it's all happening up here. And what stinks about that is it when this is all happening up here, like I'm not able to just do this, you know. And doing this is what makes you dream.
Yeah.
That's so much more important than the idea that you can't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Is that what, so tell me a little bit more. Is that what happens? Is it, where do you think that your nervousness comes from when it comes to drawing or comes to painting? Because it seems like you are really committed to it and you like it a lot and it makes you really happy. But it also seems like there's like it's like two parts of you. It's like this one saying, do it, do it, do it, makes you so happy. And this one's saying, no, don't do it. You're not going to do a good job. And it's like, oh, I don't know which one.
Yeah.
Is that what it feels like? Tell me, like, well, how does it feel inside? What does your brain tell you?
When I feel, when I draw or do anything, I feel that everyone look at me. Everyone look at me. I can't do anything.
Okay. So, first of all, I can almost guarantee you that anybody that you're seeing that you feel like is looking at you is really, do you want to know what's happening inside their brain? They're thinking, they're like, if it was your brother, he's thinking, I love programming. I want to do programming on the computer. It makes me so happy. Don't do programming. You're not good enough. And he's like, ah. And you see his face, and his face looks like, ah. And then you're like, oh, he's making that face at me because he doesn't want me to be drawing. But really, he's not thinking about you drawing at all. He doesn't care at all. He's just thinking about programming. So that's one part of the scenario. Or maybe he is looking at you and he is thinking, you're not a good drawer. But then, if that's the case, then this is what you can do. You can ask yourself, what made him so hurt that all he cares about is how bad I am? You get what I mean? Because if a person is that obsessed with seeing somebody else fail, then that must mean that they're a very hurt individual. It must mean that something's not okay inside there, you know? So either way, if they're looking at you, chances are they're not really paying that much attention to whether or not you fail. But even if they are paying attention and hoping you fail or telling you you're going to fail or any of those things, that would mean that it has a lot more to do with them than it does to do with you and your ability to do it, or how happy it makes you, or how much you suck, or how much you rock. None of what they have to say about it has really anything to do with whether or not you're doing it or it makes you happy. But if you tell yourself it does, and if you obsess over that idea that I can't do it because they're watching, or what would they think? You know, what would they think? That's like the saddest sentence in all of language, I think. But what would they think? It's like, why does that matter more than what you think about it? And if what you think about it is it makes me feel like I'm in a dream that I created, that is what matters more than anything else, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah?
Yeah. I should.
Yeah, and you know, it's something that we can revisit every single moment of every day. Like, it's not something this isn't something that just happens like in one moment. Like, it's not like I can say to you, like, now promise me you'll never think that again. You know, like I wouldn't say that because you're going to. Like, your brain is really powerful, right? So you're gonna think, what if, what if, what if? But let me ask you, what if you did this and then you accomplished all of your dreams? What if someone was watching and they saw something huge in your potential? What if the people that you met offered you opportunities that you couldn't have ever thought of? And what if you succeed? And what if whenever we are anxious or whenever we feel nervous, it's like the what if is always, what if I fail? What if you judge me? What if, you know?
Yeah, you are right.
What if? Like,
Oh, yeah.
decide if any moment your brain's like, what if I suck? You could say, I'm awesome. What if I rock at this? What if I become the best drawer that I've ever imagined myself to be? Like, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
So I have a challenge for you that next time you notice, that it all starts with noticing, right?
Okay, yeah. Right.
Because you notice when your brain says something to you like that, right?
What? I can hear you.
So when your brain says you're not good,
Yeah.
do you notice it? You pay attention when it happens, right? You hear like it feels like, huh?
Yeah.
So the next time that happens and you hear the voice, just say, huh? And then all of a sudden you have this space in between. It's me and the voice.
Yeah.
And that there is huge opportunity in this moment. Okay?
Yeah.
Huge opportunity, because you say, huh?
A challenge. Yeah. Oh.
You say,
Yeah. I wish I did that. Oh. We need you.
Nope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
And then you say, what if
Yeah.
it makes me happy?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
Good.
You're the best, and I'm a student. I'm still a student.
Exactly.
I learned from you.
Well, I'm learning from you, and I really, really mean that, because it feels really good to have a reminder to say these things, you know?
Yeah.
It feels good to meet a person and be able to share that, because I didn't know this forever.
Yeah.
I learned this. I am a student, and I was a student to learn this.
Yeah.
And guess what? They didn't teach me this in art school. This isn't something I learned when I learned how to pick these things up. It didn't happen from the same people, and it didn't happen at the same time. I learned this from becoming strong in my brain.
Yeah.
And choosing to become strong in my brain.
Yeah.
And that doesn't have anything to do with this.
Yeah.
Because you need this no matter what you do. Your brother needs this to do programming. You know?
Yeah, I know.
Singer, they need this to do that. Anyone who's good at anything, who's successful at anything, who can make a living at what they love to do, they need to be stronger than the messaging that their brain is telling them. And that is not easy to do.
Yeah.
But just like this, It takes practice.
Yes.
Mhm.
Practice.
Practice. And
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
How do
should
you,
live in my what?
well, I said, how do you feel? But what were you going to say?
I feel now I feel happy and nervous, still nervous because everyone can see us now.
That's true.
It,
That's true. But again, who cares?
yeah,
Who cares?
yeah. I should believe in myself and I will succeed. So
You should believe in yourself. And if you do believe in yourself, you absolutely will succeed.
yeah,
Because that's all you need. It's just me believing in me. You believing in you.
yeah.
hmm
I can see you believe in yourself and you can draw a beautiful painting.
Thank
Yeah,
you very much. Thank you.
thank you.
And I'm glad that you see that, you know? Okay, well, I'm going to send you more information. I'm going to
Yeah,
DM you a link. I'll direct message with you. And
okay,
if you have any other questions, message me, okay?
okay.
I'm so grateful that you decided to do this with me. You probably don't even realize, but that is so huge that even though you were nervous and maybe
Yeah,
still are, that you did it anyway. Do you really understand that? Like
yeah, I
you did it
understand.
anyway.
Yeah,
That is the definition of courage.
yeah,
Courage is to move forward
yeah,
when the outcome is uncertain.
yeah,
Courage is one step above fear. If fear exists here, courage exists here, and we can do it anyway. We'll move forward anyway. So today you're nervous, but you did it anyway, and you moved forward.
I believe in myself.
It's not even that you will believe in yourself, it's that you do. I
Yeah,
do.
yeah,
I do believe
yeah,
in you. And I believe in you too.
yeah,
And what if you meet more people like me who really
yeah,
believe in you? Because I really do.
yeah. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank you. And I hope you have a really good day, okay?
Okay.
Wait, what did you say? I think you said one more thing.
What?
Did you say one more thing? I just wanted to make sure before I ended the video with you.
Oh, okay. No, I said goodbye. Good night.
I didn't hear it, but goodbye. Wow, that was amazing. That made me feel really, really good. And I got a cool drawing for linear perspective too at the beginning with Shaza today. And I'm going to clip down this whole video and take the best parts, especially where Shaza was saying that she'll believe in herself, because she should. If you still see this in the live feed, Shaza, you should. There's a lot that's inside of you, and I can tell. And it all starts with just believing in yourself and returning to your belief in yourself and saying, okay, I'm nervous, but I'm going to do it anyway. That's a good place to end.